Welcome back, everybody. For those of you that may not know who I am and missed the voice of God very early this morning, my name is Felicity Carson, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Onsemi. So I'm absolutely delighted to be here and present to you on a topic of how we as marketing leaders and practitioners can develop a very successful marketing strategy through innovation and through vision. But before I get started, I think it's just a little bit important to give some context about Onsemi, the company that I work for. Onsemi is a global, US headquartered semiconductor company. In fact, we're headquartered here in Scottsdale, Arizona. We deliver a highly differentiated product portfolio of semiconductors for the automotive, industrial, and AI data centers. So with that in context, what I'll be sharing with you today is based on my experiences working as CMO for Onsemi, as well as the experiences and best practices and learnings that I have gathered from my leadership roles where I led marketing at IBM, SAP, and Aviva. So let's frame the discussion this way. Vision sets the direction, and innovation is what drives the momentum. And together, they create a backbone for a resilient and future-ready marketing strategy that is aligned with the company's goals and objectives. So let's explore this a bit more. We'll start off with vision. So this quote is by Peter Drucker. For those of you who don't know Peter Drucker, he was a management consultant. He coined the term the knowledge worker. He was also an author and an educator. And his quote was, "The best way to predict the future is to have a vision and create it." Now, I love this quote because you can apply it to your personal life, but it's also a quote that applies professionally. Visionary marketing leaders must become masters at creating vision. They have to set the direction, shape new ideas and trends, and inspire their teams to think beyond just the status quo. In fact, the best visionary marketing leaders are those that can truly anticipate what is next and then build with purpose towards it. So, why does vision matter? Well, firstly, it sets a clear direction for the decision-making process, making sure that each decision maps to the outcomes that the business wants to achieve. It stimulates the art of the possible, right? It motivates bold thinking beyond just incremental changes. It encourages innovation and risk-taking, and it also creates these transformational ideas that can deliver lasting customer value. Now, this all sounds pretty abstract, right? But there are many companies today that do this very successfully. And one of them we all know, which is Microsoft. So Microsoft is truly an outstanding example of a company that delivers strategic visionary leadership. Their visionary leadership has been instrumental to their continuous transformation from a software legacy company back in the 1970s to what is today an AI-forward, cloud-first enterprise leader. Their CEO, Satya Nadella, when he joined Microsoft in 2014, the market cap for Microsoft at the time was $300 billion US. 10 years later, 2024, the market cap for Microsoft is now over $3 trillion US. And this has been driven by unprecedented growth. They have focused on cloud first and being an AI-forward enterprise leader. They also have driven the growth through cloud adoption, subscription models, and strategic acquisitions that include LinkedIn and GitHub. They have consistently positioned themselves as that enterprise software leader in AI and cybersecurity and software. The other thing about Microsoft is that they have driven a very unified, consistent message across all their channels, whether it was product, platform, or service. And also, just as important, their marketing teams have aligned to that vision and their product innovation. They have delivered some of the most successful B2B campaigns to date. Those campaigns are do more with less, and I forgot the other one, and empowering us all. There we go. Microsoft is truly a company that is forward-thinking and that has earned its trust with their customers, and that trust has enabled them to command premium pricing, which in turn, of course, has accelerated their market cap. Let's move over to innovation. So Steve Jobs, he had a brilliant quote around innovation, and that was, "Innovation distinguishes the difference between a leader and a follower." But innovation, what it really needs, it needs courage. Courage to go beyond the status quo. And what does this mean? It means lead with bold ideas, redefine new categories, and build experiences that can turn customers into advocates. So let's explore Apple as well. So Apple is a company, again, that is a true visionary leader when it comes to innovation. And their innovation extends across a large spectrum. It looks at their innovation has been driven through their brand identity, through their innovative product design, and their overall user experience, from the point of how you purchase an Apple product to the unveiling of the Apple product and how it's packaged, and right down to the service that Apple offers. In fact, Apple is a brand that conveys exclusivity and status. And they have come a long way as well, from the dot-com bust back in the 2000s to what is here stated as recovery. But I would say that they introduced revolutionary new products that have absolutely redefined industries. And by doing so, they have created a very loyal customer base, and this has positioned Apple as a premium brand and what is considered today to be one of the world's most valuable companies in the world. So, to sum it up, vision defines where you're going, it sets the destination, and innovation defines how you will get there. It really is around building the roadmap. To say it differently, vision is about setting that North Star, defining the strategy to get to that North Star, and building the right narrative that compels customers and prospects to engage. Likewise, innovation, this is all around the tools and the tactics and the new opportunities that can get identified to move the company forward. As B2B marketers, we have to be very careful that we don't get caught up in the operational weeds of day-to-day marketing. We need to zoom out and take a step back and connect those day-to-day marketing operations with the larger vision. And this will enable you to unlock that strategic clarity. And when you pair that clarity with the innovation, this is when you don't just execute, this is when you begin to truly lead. So let's explore innovation a little bit more. It is a necessity. It is therefore a strategic imperative. And why is that? Well, firstly, there are multiple drivers to innovation. There are market dynamics that are changing constantly, whether through social or whether through geopolitical. In addition, there are many new emerging technologies. For the last day and a half, we've been talking about AI and the impact that AI is having in transforming careers and industries and products and services. And with that, there are also changes in terms of customer needs, customer pain points, and customer expectations. But we also need to be careful because there are barriers to innovation. Those barriers are coming through organizational silos. It's very frequent to have companies where different organizations and departments do not really connect together and talk to each other. And that is a barrier to driving a new idea and new innovation. Companies then also suffer from risk aversion. People are hesitant to change. They get complacent. They get comfortable with that revenue stream, and they're not too concerned about what may happen in the future, and that is dangerous. And then the other barrier to innovation is legacy systems. Again, last day and a half, we've been hearing about AI and the importance of bringing new AI tools into the marketing mix. If you continue with old legacy systems, that will be a huge barrier to driving innovation. The other aspect of innovation is that it enables you to differentiate in saturated markets. Think about Apple. What did they do? They were a mobile phone company right at the beginning. But what they did was they differentiated. They took that mobile device and they took multiple other devices and brought it all together into a single net new product design, product device that we use today to monitor our health, do our banking, and track our kids, or our kids track us. But that is why this is so important. Innovation also comes in not only your product and service, it also comes in how you can build a very unique brand voice and create signature experiences that can truly turn customers into advocates. So, as I mentioned, I work for a company called Onsemi. This company is 26 years old. For the first 22 years, it was known as Onsemi Conductor. And it was a company that was basically what I would call a reliable core supplier of semiconductors for all kinds of applications, from hair dryers to vehicles. It was considered to have moderate quality, wasn't really a standout in any type of innovation in technology, and it was very much engineering focused, and basically the company focused purely on, cost efficiency and operational scale. And this also permeated through their leadership executive team, which had very little visibility, very little interaction with investors and other customers and media and PR. And that was the old Onsemi Conductor. But in December of 2020, a new CEO was appointed. His name is Hassan El-Khoury, and he's been truly a transformative leader for the company. He wanted to basically transform this company into what is today a highly specialized, innovative technology company. And the first steps that he took was to look at how can we innovate? How can we become a company that delivers true value to customers based on our expertise? And so with that, the focus was on the technology and becoming an expert in the technology of intelligent power and sensing technologies. The next step was to identify which were the high growth markets. Where would intelligent power, sensing, and power technologies do well in those markets where they could be high growth? And so with that, we identified automotive, industrial, and AI data centers. I joined Onsemi in August of 21, so about 8 months after Hassan did. And I had the responsibility of building out the new brand identity for Onsemi. And that required us to look at our narrative, our core values, our messaging, our look and feel, to make sure that the brand identity correlated with where we were taking Onsemi to. And so today, we are a high-value company. We have very strong established relationships with our customers, and we are in a place where we can create defensible market advantages that can fuel sustainable revenue growth. So, the role of marketing basically sits at the intersection of vision and innovation. Marketing has a responsibility to translate that vision and innovation into market activation, brand building, and a narrative that is compelling, that engages those prospects and customers. Marketing has a role here because it ensures that vision and innovation are not just internal strategies or buzzwords, but they are truly external differentiators for the company. So, how do you bring this to life? And for me, I am very structured, and one of those things that I like is to have a clear blueprint of how we can execute with excellence. And when I look at the structure, there are 3 core components to the structure. Firstly, it's to build the right strategic framework, and that sets the foundation for how you will execute. The next set is the execution of those innovative tactics. And finally, just as important as the other two core pillars, is to ensure that you have collaboration across the company. So I'll talk about each of these pillars and some of the levers that we use. So firstly is the brand purpose and positioning. This basically sets out what is going to be the core values of the company. What is the narrative? How are we going to distinguish ourselves and be unique and differentiated from the competitors? Next up, you need to have insights and capture those insights from competitive intelligence, market intelligence, and audience intelligence, because this informs the right decisions and helps to build the right strategy foundation. You also need a strategy around your demand generation engine and how you're going to power that with AI. We know that AI can automate and optimize lead generation and also help with lead progression. AI plays a critical role in that strategy in terms of how you will execute. Every company has a digital footprint, and it's important here that you optimize that digital experience, making sure that that whole digital experience is seamless for whether it is a customer or a prospect. And here you obviously would use tools like A/B testing and heat maps. And finally, there is the CX platform, intelligence platform. This is absolutely critical to your strategic framework and foundation because this centralizes all of the customer interactions. It gives you visibility into how the customers are responding to your product and or service. It also gives you the opportunity to very quickly identify pain points and also identify new opportunities. So moving on into innovative tactics. One I think that we're all very familiar with is building out the messaging architecture. It's basically the messaging structure based on what is the message that you're going to drive for the very targeted audiences that you have identified, as well as the message from a very high level, starting with the tagline, straight down to deep technical content that comes through in technical papers or white papers. The second point here on innovative tactics is around ensuring that you drive your decisions through data. Data-driven decisions are critical for a modern marketing engine to work because it guides the marketing strategies and it empowers the team to make informed decisions. Next up is the strategic AI personalization. Now, there are many tools when it comes to AI to help with personalization, tailor-made content. There's machine learning that can enable you to predict customer behavior and customer outcomes. So making sure that you're making the right selections on these AI tools is absolutely critical as part of your execution excellence. The next one is agile marketing models. This one I am very much focused on because it's something I learned back in my IBM days, and that was to really become a marketing department that could deploy an agile marketing model. And basically, it's the way you work. It's making sure that you are flexible, that you have an iterative approach, that you build the right amount of time scales to get projects done, and that you have the right Scrum team together to make sure that you take a big task, break it up into small tasks, and get the big task done in a very rapid response way. And then there is the customer journey mapping. So this looks at the entire customer lifecycle, from discovery through to advocacy and even offboarding for that matter. Every customer interaction matters. And so it is important to understand how are these customers responding to the service or the support or the product, and how are we responding to that to make sure that we are keeping those customers continuously satisfied. On to the third core pillar, cross-functional collaboration. I think every marketer knows that it's critically important to have synergy with sales. But not just direct sales, you also need to have that synergy with your indirect sales, your partner, your channel ecosystem. Cross-functional collaboration also needs to happen at the beginning of a product. So think of ideating that product when the engineers are coming together and they're thinking about a product. It is important for marketing to have a seat at the table so that it can help to influence and shape how that product will eventually develop and go to market. That is absolutely critically important for the overall go-to-market. Another aspect of cross-collaboration here is to make sure that the marketing outcomes that you are driving aligns with the business objectives that are coming out of corporate. This is also absolutely important. As a marketer, you can't go off and run your own department. You have to make sure there is alignment with the overarching corporate strategy for the company. Customer experience, this is so important. As a marketer, you need to be a champion for customer experience for the entire organization, because it doesn't matter whether you may think customer experience is only a sales function or only a marketing function. It is not. Everyone is responsible for customer experience. Everyone interfaces with the customer in some form or fashion. Whether you are in legal, whether you're in finance, whether you're in procurement, everyone has a responsibility because every customer interaction matters. And then there is ESG and sustainability. We know that today, many companies, and particularly even us in the semiconductor world, our customers want to work with a company that has strong, good, sustainable practices and goals. So it is important when you think about sustainability that you're looking at what is the product going to do? What's the application of the product? What is the operations of the company? Are we all doing things in a more sustainable way? And does it align with our sustainability goals? And then there's also the part of the community, right? That ties in also with the overarching voice of the brand. How does the company respond to the community in times of trouble? How does the company respond to donations, putting out grants for children that are unprivileged? And how does the company also respond to what's happening in the environment, planting trees as an example? So these are all very, very important. It basically sets the foundation. Obviously, there's a lot more behind each of these bullet points, but it is a framework, it's a foundation to get you started. But the common denominator here is innovation. How do you innovate on all of these aspects and make sure that you are driving towards the broader vision? Sorry, the ticker is a bit slow. All right, so let me leave you with 3 takeaways. So firstly, vision. Lead with vision. Inspire your teams. Inspire your leadership teams. Get them excited. Align with those stakeholders and set the destination. Be a part of that development. Secondly, execute with innovation. The landscape is changing faster, more faster than ever before. And innovation is not only how you stay relevant, it is truly going to be how you differentiate and create value in ways that your competitors cannot. And here clearly is when you connect vision and innovation with execution excellence, that is when we, as marketing practitioners and leaders, can deliver true, meaningful impact. Marketing has to be accountable for not only pipeline and revenue and leads, but truly to be a partner in terms of driving strategic growth and becoming that growth agent for the company. So with that, that's all I got. So I'll open up if there are any questions. Oh, no questions. Oh, there's one.
Hi, that was fabulous, thank you. I'm a B2B marketer in a very engineering and STEM-led organization. And I was just wondering, like from your perspective, have you ever come across the engineering type individuals who might not be in the camp that marketing is a is a driver of growth.
Yeah,
And how do you handle that and navigate it as a marketing leader?
So I love that question because I live that day to day today, and my team sitting here knows that we were literally just talking about it. Yes, it's a tough road when you are partnering with engineers. But the one thing you have in common with an engineer is data. They love data. And so if you can truly take a look at the insights that you're capturing from the market, the intelligence you're capturing from competitors, the insights you're getting from your customers through the customer surveys and what the customers are saying about the product, and, oh, I wish the product did this versus that. All of that is powerful data. And when you go into a conversation with an engineer that says, hey, we want to do this, we want to launch this campaign, we need this type of investment for this event because guess what? There are going to be engineers here, and then you can use all of this data to say, hey, this product is unique, this product is differentiated. There's no better way to do that. So I think that having those data-driven discussions with engineers is the only way to go. So that's one aspect. And I think another aspect that I would state as well is you do need to have a leadership team that is on board and supports marketing. We are very fortunate at Onsemi. Hassan, our CEO, he is very pro-marketing. And in fact, he wanted to ensure that when we made the transformation from Onsemi to Onsemi, that the marketing team wasn't just considered a marcom team, but a team that was really driving brand and demand and advocacy for customers and the environment. So one last thing I will state is that when I joined Onsemi, we didn't have a demand generation engine because they didn't believe that marketing could really drive pipeline. And so I made it a point that I'm like, we are going to do this. We are going to get to that $1 billion in marketing opportunity pipeline. We're going to build the right framework and the demand generation engine to support it. And now I can comfortably say that when we go into QBRs, we are able to show marketing is now becoming very critical in driving that growth, particularly in the mass market. And so now we're having much more of a seat at the table and getting their buy-in.